yourself, Paul. It's just, yeah, really, I tell everyone about how amazing it is what you're doing.
Well, we lost, so everybody heard that.
Well, you are. You need to hear it. Yeah, have it
Oh,
validated. So good
well,
evening, Paul. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you, Sally?
I'm excited because the weather's picking up here and it's going to be summer at the end of the week. So that's very good. Very cool.
Look, I know it's been quite cold where you are in Melbourne, hasn't it?
Yeah. I not last night, the night before, I had the fire going, like log fire going. It was that cold. So
This is like, you know, I don't want to go down that track, about global warming, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the global warming sometimes. So
I know. Well, look at the rain and like Melbourne. I'm going to Marimbula tomorrow for a workshop, and it's going to be like 2018, and here it's going to be 29. So like, you can't work it out. It's just there's no rhyme or reason.
no, there is none. But anyhow, so it's warming up. You're on your way to Marimbula, and
Yes.
you've had a good week, haven't you?
I have. Just a little bit of a side note. So because I used to do a lot of work with Pillar Practice, and they're based in Canberra. So they had a book launch one year. It was a couple of years ago. So I drove up to Canberra the quickest way, and then came back along the coast. And I'd stopped at Eden, and there was a busload of tourists, or like they'd hired a little van. And so they're all jumping back into the van, and they go, right, now we're off to Merimbula. So ever since then, Marimbula has been called Merimbula.
Oh, talking about misspelled names, right? I heard a story once of an Asian that came up and said, "Where is Crackula Quay?" Right? Because I couldn't say Circular Quay. Crackula Quay.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Yes,
So
yeah. Another sort of amazing week of like you could not write or you couldn't invent what happens in my life. Like you just can't. It's just stuff
look,
happens.
one thing. So let's get this straight, right? Okay. One thing that's been happening is you've been putting in the work, and by you
100%.
putting in,
100%.
and by putting in the work, you've created this really solid foundation. And I know how much work you've been putting in because, well, I've known you for a year, and I only get to see the tip of the iceberg of what you do, right? And that's enough for one person already, just a tip, right? So if we use the 80-20, you're probably doing the work of 5 people, right? And that's why you're starting to get the rewards that you're getting. And I know,
Right? It's just starting to flow and run
yeah,
itself. It's going into
yeah,
autopilot. It is ridiculous. Shall I share the story just very quickly about what
please
happened
do.
this week? So I'm talking to my friend. I reckon it was last week. I've just printed off the date. So I think it was last week. And I said, so I'm in this rental because I've got the beach house that I manifested, and it was within 2 weeks of coming out. Remember, and I got the house, and then I thought, well, actually, I wouldn't mind something still up in town, which I'll just rent. Just because I've got my kids up here, and it's a long story. So, with 2 weeks to go, I found a rental, and at the time, the rental was $730, but everything else was $1,000 or $1,500 a week. So I've gone, oh my God. So I got it and I moved in, and it served its purpose. And literally, my rent has been up. I've just clocked up the year. And I said to my friend, I don't know if I can do another year in this rental because it served its purpose. But I work upstairs here and there's no cooling. So it gets very, very hot. So all of summer last year, I sweated it out. Whereas downstairs, it's a 2-story place, 3 bedrooms. But I used one of the bedrooms as a study. And downstairs, it's super, super cold. And it was built in the 90s, back in one of those cheap builds where there's no insulation. So all of winter froze my tits off, and all of summer sweated my butt off. So I thought, I just put it out. I literally was a passing comment, and I said, I don't know if I can do another year here. 2 days later, no joke, I get an email from the agent saying, the owner wants to put the place up. Now, it was $720 or $730 a week, putting it up to $900. Just a very straight out statement of like, the owner wants to put up the rent. It's going to go to $900 a week. Like, it was just like, do you want to discuss? There was nothing like that. And it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I thought, I've only just said I don't really want to be here. And it happened that I was talking to my financial planner the very next day, who took over my dad's company, and we were just talking about stuff. And I said, oh, and now they want to put my rent up. And he said, well, your homework this weekend is to have a look at realestate.com or Domain, whatever. Just look at other rentals. So last week, so that was the weekend before last, so 2 weeks ago, it all happened. And then last weekend, so a week ago, I look on Domain, whatever, and then I see this place around the corner, and it's 3 bedrooms, 2 car parks, 2 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms, whatever, the same as what I got here. And it's $50 cheaper. I've just gone, hang on, and that has heating and cooling, and it's all on one level. This is split level. So I inquire with the agent, and she gets back to me. I'll let you know when we can get in for access. So I ring her on Tuesday, and I go, have you heard anything? And she said, yeah, I think 5:15 on Thursday. And I thought, look, I can only just do it 10 minutes. And I thought, oh, that gives me 2 days. So I thought, well, let's just be a bit proactive here, because I'm kind of choosing to find somewhere different. So I printed out the application and I copied my passport, did my driver's license. So I did all the pre-checking stuff just on the off chance, because I thought, look, if I'm thinking about it, when you plant that idea in your head of like, oh, I'm kind of done with it. Now I'm looking at other places, might be an option. So I thought I'll do my homework behind it. It literally took me 5 minutes. I was sitting at my desk, pulled out my whatever's, and just did all the stuff. So I rock up there at 5:15. Now the agent's running late, and there's all these people outside, and I'm thinking, all right, mum with a couple of kids, and then there's this Indian dude who's on the phone to maybe a number of others to like rent out the rooms, whatever. And so there's a whole variety of different people. And I've rocked up in my sports gear. Like I just look like a, normal, just come from the gym type of thing. No one, it wouldn't, you can't assume, right? Don't assume. It's one of the 4 agreements. And so anyway, I go up, and she opens the door and have a look, and within 2 minutes I've gone, yeah, this feels right. So while the others are still looking, I walk outside and say to the chick, all right, here's my application, but would they take 6 months? And she goes, I don't know, but I'll put it to the owner. And I said, okay, I have to go because I had to meet my girlfriend at the gym. Anyway, so the next day is Friday. So this is Friday last week. What day are we now? Tuesday. So this is last Friday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. And anyway, the lady of the new property that I'm looking at, she comes back and she says, look, the owner would prefer 12 months. So I'm in meetings, and so by 12 o'clock I ring her back, but it goes on to voicemail. Meanwhile, the other agent that has gone the 900, you've got to do this from, the week before, starts ringing me and texting me nonstop. And it was one of those days where every meeting went back to back to back. I didn't even have time to go to the toilet. It was one of those that went straight through. And she's ringing me. I can't answer the phone. So she's texting me, and I said, look, I'm in meetings. If I get a chance, I'll get back to you. And then I don't finish till 8 o'clock that night. And her texts during the day were, the owner really like you. She really like you. She wants you to stay. And it was like really broken English. And it was like, oh, no, we do deal. We do deal. And I've texted back like, no, well, we need to discuss this. And she goes, oh, no, we need to have a conversation. So anyway, I'm trying to put it in the wings until I hear back from the other lady. So I've messaged about any update on this rental that, yeah, I'm happy with 12 months and it's, can you let me know? And she doesn't get back to me. So I don't want to hound her, but I think, well, they work Saturday. So I called 3 times, I text a couple of times, and there's nothing. And I thought, you know what? Listen to your own philosophy, because then when the fear started coming up, oh, do I have to go and ring this other woman? I thought, no, just trust and believe and let it go. Trust and believe. And I'm busy because it's Black Friday. I'm racing around getting presents for the kids and stuff, saving a fortune, by the way. That's another side bit. 5:30 that afternoon, the agent from the new rental rings me and she said, oh, my goodness, after I messaged you yesterday, I was in an open and I accidentally left my phone in the house and it was locked up until I could get back in through the tenants, which wasn't until I've just got my phone. It's 5:30 on Saturday. And she said, yes, they'll take your application if you take 12 months. And I said, great. So by 6 o'clock, I'd signed it up. And so I'd signed the lease agreement. And then I said to the lady, how many days notice do you need to give and whatever? So she actually told me what to type into my email to the current agents to say, hey, I'm giving notice now, 28 days notice. And so Monday morning, the current agent rings me and says, oh, can we discuss about your place? And I said, oh, why? And she said, oh, no, she's very happy for you to stay. We can negotiate. You can have the same rent. You can do everything. I said, well, I've just signed an agreement with somebody else. She goes, why did you do that? I said, well, you sent me an email saying you're putting the rent up, and it was very blunt. And I said, and this place doesn't have any cooling upstairs and it's very cold. And she said, oh, and I said, and I found a place around the corner. It's $50 cheaper. And she said, oh, can you tell me how much? And I don't know. I didn't say 50. I said cheaper. And she goes, can you tell me where and how much? And I said, no, but I said, it's a better proposition. And she said, oh, well, can you stay till January? I said, no, I've given you 28 days notice. She hadn't seen her email. She had seen nothing. And I said, I sent you 2 emails on the weekend. So they had to honor it from when I sent the email. So then she goes, oh, well, that's going to be at Christmas time. It's the 24th. The 28 days comes up Christmas Eve. And she said, oh, well, can you make it a week earlier? And I said, well, I've got to organise removalists and stuff, and I have to give 28 days notice. Oh, we'll refund back the rent and the difference. So I thought, right, I don't know. So I've booked the removalist, one for next Friday and one for the Friday after. So I move in on the Friday, I think it's the 16th, or the 19th, which is a week before, which would mean I wouldn't have an overlap of 2 lots of rent. So I might get that back, but that's my rental story in a nutshell. All I did was just verbalise something. I'm not sure I could really stay here. I think I might like something else. The universe goes, oh, okay, let's get this into, and with ease and flow. So when I stopped the stress that started to come up, I haven't heard anything. I just thought and went away along my day. And then out of the blue, she rings me saying, sorry, I lost my phone. So it was actually testing me to stay in my peace. And that's to my advantage.
And that's such an interesting story. And there's a few things I want to pick up in this story. Right?
Yeah.
So many people could have so easily played the victim. Oh no, my rent's going from $730 to $900.
Yeah.
And they could have gone down in that spiral, like the world hates me and everyone hates me.
The anger. Oh, you can't do that. And I don't think by law they can actually do that, but they were just trying. 100%. My instant reaction was, oh, I just stopped and just gone. And then I thought I'll just allow that to process, because I know, interest rates are going up and all that sort of stuff. And it's probably because I haven't rented for a long time. It's probably part of the protocol. But then I thought that's when it just sunk in. Actually, I'm not that happy with the place. So they did me a favor by being greedy.
And that's the first thing, is that they helped you with the moving out. You didn't play the victim, and you took control, and you just allowed it to flow, and you got yourself a better place for cheaper, which is amazing.
I know, it's ridiculous, where it's all on one level and it's really modern, and I've got this big terrace with views all over the back of Melbourne. And I can't believe it for $680. It's ridiculous.
I think I'm moving in now. Although, they've heard Melbourne 4 seasons in one day. It sounds like Sally's current place has 4 seasons in 1 minute.
Up and down. But what it allowed me to focus on the situation, because I'd gone into autopilot, just paying my rent, and I hadn't thought about this place at all. And then as summer's approaching this week, so I'll be out before Christmas. And the great thing is, this is the other part, is that I searched through my phone, looked for removalists, and I got the lady that moved me a year ago, and they moved me into this rental and also down to the beach. And I said, oh, well, what happened is that because everything was in a rush, there was a lot of boxes that I didn't send to the beach because I didn't have room in the truck. So I said, they haven't even been undone. So can we do 2 deliveries, one pick up here of all these boxes? It's just kids' photo albums and stuff from over the years that weren't a priority. So I've got all these boxes they're going to take next Friday, still in the rental here, get it out of the way. So by the time I move up to the other one, I literally only take what I need, which is just the bed, the furniture, the cupboards and my desk and office stuff. So not all the other excess crap, which I don't want to drag around with me. So it gives me time over summer to go through the kids' photos, scan them, do whatever you need to do, because I had, lots of kids' stuff, from 10 years. So, so it was a win-win, and I've just gone, and then if I am able to get it the week earlier, I won't be paying the double rent. Ooh.
Which is great. But it also comes back to something you were saying earlier on today in a different group, you and Claire, where you're just allowing things to flow.
Yes, I think that was the trilogy. We're always saying about trust and believe. And for this week, it just landed, just allow. So it's that everything's in 3s. So trust and believe, trust in the process, believe in yourself, trust everything will be okay, but just allow it to unfold organically. Just allow the process to go through. Allow yourself to be, to go with the flow, to be in the moment. Oh, so powerful. I just, that has landed for me this week, how important allowing is, because it allows you to get out of your head, the stress, the worry, the anxiety about, oh yeah, but the rent's going up, but this, just allow the process to unfold and trust and believe that it will be okay. And look at that. It is. It's amazing.
It's amazing. The other thing I want to talk about is assume. You know what assume stands for? Make an ass out of me and make an ass out of you. So never assume.
I love that one. Make an ass out of me and an ass out of you. Yeah. I love that one.
So that's amazing.
What about you? Sorry, go on.
So sorry, what were you saying? What about me?
Have you had any miracle stories in the past week?
Well, not like you. The thing is, you know, I got my last year I got JobSaver, and then they did an audit on me, and I said, oh, I hope they don't send me. I got the bill. I said I'm going to dispute the bill and all of that. But when I first got the bill, I didn't lose any sleep over it.
Yep.
I just turned around and I just said, okay, well, let's just see what it is. I've got this great technique that I do now to help me fall asleep. And I fall asleep really good. It's from the book from Joe Dispenza. You know, he's talking about focus on your heart, right? Okay, because it magnifies everything. So what I do now is when I go to bed, after I've read my books, I just fall asleep anyway, because that's what sleeping does to me. Reading books does to me. Now, however, when I wake up, because you know guys have to wake up and go at least once to the toilet. Sometimes I'll go back to bed and your mind's ticking over and doing all that.
Yep.
I don't. I just go straight back and just focus on that, and I'm asleep again. It's like amazing. It works really well.
So good. You must share that as a separate little video in the group.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll probably cut it down, I suppose. But yeah, so anyone that's got insomnia, and it's really weird because both my kids, 9 and 10, are kind of like, I don't know if he's making them go to bed too early, but they're both waking up in the middle of the night. Or right. Andreas is the youngest one. He can't go to sleep. But I think he's worried because next week he's got to play at school and he's got to get up.
Right. Yep.
And it's really worrying him. But my oldest son, who used to sleep so well, like last night, he comes into my bed at 2:00 and says, oh, I can't sleep. He says, I need to hear somebody snoring.
You a snorer?
No. Well, nobody really snores. Sometimes there's a bit of snoring. So I just said, okay, well, you hop into my bed and I go and hop into your bed, right? And it might be because, you know, young kids, you have the light on because they're scared of the dark. You might be on that now, so maybe we'll try without the light. So anyway, I forgot where I was going with that story. I got on.
I was talking about sharing your tips with insomnia.
Not insomnia. The tips about So I was talking about my that $8,000 I have to pay back.
Oh yes, yeah.
And so no, I've just turned around and said, okay, I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm not even going to focus on it. I'm just going to take it as it comes. Right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to contact the line and say I want to dispute it. Right.
Yep.
And I did. I contacted the line and said, no, I want to dispute this. And they came back with an email saying, give me all the reasons why I need to pay it again, which I knew anyway. So today I just rang up and just calmly said, look, I want to dispute it. You've made a charge on me. So I don't want to have an intermediary, like the revenue service, right? Yeah. If you're going to make a charge on me, I need to be able to speak to the person actually making the charge against me.
Yeah.
So they've turned around and said, okay, well, we will now lodge the dispute. So what it's done is, and it's not even a bad thing because I've already got that money in an
Yeah.
account. So it's not like it's going to be hard on me or tough on me. I'm just there thinking, it's $8,000. Let's
Yeah.
at least fight for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And this is one thing I think we spoke about last week. If you don't ask, you'll never know, right? So asking is a really big thing, and a lot of people don't ask, and that's part of the thing. Never assume. So if
Yeah.
you never assume, just ask. There's no point. You can always be told no, and that's fine, but you won't know if you don't ask. So
And that's all I'm doing is I'm just sitting there and just saying, look, I just want to dispute it. I just want to give you my side of the story, because when I applied, I got assistance from you, and this is what you told me when I applied. Now you've come back and you want me to pay $8,000 back. Why should I do that? No, and they might. We'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll either be very happy or I'll just be, oh, well, that's just life.
Yeah. But absolutely give it a go. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And then the other, so on Thursday night, I caught up with a new potential client in my business. And he came to me through my website, and he lives really close to me. And so we went down to the shops and we had a coffee. And we spent about 3 hours together. So what I want to do is to firstly understand the person before I go and give any recommendations. I want to know where they are, what's in their head, and all that. And what came out is he's terrified of money.
Right.
And I'm then just going back to this group, and I'm just going, where your energy goes, the money flows, that kind of thing. So I've just said, look, the financial planning part of it it's going to be 5% of your issues.
Yeah.
I will do that. I will do that 5%. I get paid. But as a friend, what I'll do is I'll just help you to work on the other side of everything.
Yeah.
And it went for 3. So no, when he's saying I'm terrified of money, so I said, okay, well, if what you put in your mind is what you're going to get. So if you keep being terrified about money, you will be terrified that you will get no money, because that's where the energy goes. So if you don't want to be terrified about money, what do you want to be? He said, well, I want to be confident. I said, okay. So now every time you just say, I want to be confident about money.
Yeah. And did you drill down to see where it came from, or was it a childhood thing with what he was brought up with? And
I didn't go that deep, but I know that he's recently gone through a few hard times. The thing is, he's not actually too destitute. My light keeps going on and off. I'm in a discotheque.
Yeah. The DJ.
He's not too destitute. Okay, he needs to build up his asset column.
Yeah.
But he's got a roof over his head, and he's in a profession where he quit his job, and 3 days later he had another job.
Yeah, right. I'm just checking on the thingy here.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Ali says hi. She's lost track of time.
Oh, hi, Ali.
There we go.
So where was I? So yeah, he earns a 6-figure sum, right?
Yep.
But and I can't give him advice around what to do at his job. But he's in a bad situation because his boss is an alcoholic.
Right.
And I said, do you really want to stay in that? You know you can go and get a job tomorrow. Yeah. If you're going to hang around, where you hang around is what's going to happen. Yeah? If you're going to stay with an alcoholic, he's going to drag himself down, and in the process, he'll drag you down.
You become the 5 people that you hang around, right? So it's like, get out of that toxic environment.
Yeah. So it was a really good meeting, and we kind of walked him halfway home. I went one way, he went the other way. Next morning, he's sent me the book he's reading, because he's just really started out on the path, and it's really amazing how fast things work.
Yeah.
So he got a book about anxiety, and has started reading that, and then he rang me up. and we sat down and I said, look, the reason why you and I are talking together isn't because of the financial planning or anything. It's because you've started reading this book and you've already started to make changes in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's gone, oh, and then I've turned around and now when you take a point in time, right? So if you take a point in time today and you progress it out a few years, right? If you're going along a straight line, that's where you're going to end up. But just 1 degree makes a huge difference in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
And I've turned around and said, you've already done that. So your life was on a downward spiral. Your life is now, with the way you're going, with your progression, so long as you keep going, you're now going on an upward spiral. And then we haven't even used the compounding effect of all the work that he's going to do. So, and then a few days later, he's texted me. He said, this is Sunday. He says, I'm on Cronulla Beach and I rode to Cronulla Beach and I'm just thinking about everything you said. So it was great to have an impact on somebody that I know he contacted me for the financial planning side of things, but that's not where his issue was. His issue was in his mindset. Yeah. And it was just so easy just to say, look, we need to change your mindset. And so what I'm thinking of doing is, because we live so close together, I want to take him to the RSL club in Ramsgate, which is literally around the corner for both of us, and play Cash Flow 101 with him.
Oh, yeah, you were mentioning that, the cash flow, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a game that simulates life. So I might try and get, I don't know, do you think Heather might be interested? So I might try and get 2 or 3 people, and then we might just go down and play Cash Flow 101.
Is it a board game or?
It's a board game. It's a board game. When you're talking, while your thing's on, I'll run out, I'll grab it and I'll show you what it is. But basically, what you do is you're playing this game, and the whole idea is to get out of the rat race.
Right.
And the way you get out of the rat race is when your passive income or your income from your investments is greater than your expenses.
Yeah.
And then you get out of the rat race. And it kind of like simulates that. So what you need to start doing is to build up a asset column. And Rich Dad or Robert Kiyosaki's definition of an asset versus a liability.
Mm-hmm.
An asset is something that puts money in your pocket.
Right. I love this.
A liability is something that takes money out your pocket.
Yeah.
So in this example, your home that you live in, is that an asset or a liability?
Yeah.
Right? Is it putting money in your pocket or taking money out your pocket while you're paying mortgage?
Yeah. Old houses, right? They're a bottomless pit with renovations and plumbing and electricity and blah, blah, blah. Old stuff.
And so in that respect, with that definition, it's a liability. Now, even though the house I'm living in is probably doubled in price, it's still sucked out a lot of money, in the mortgage. 1/3 of the mortgage now, because of all the interest rates, 1/3 goes to the bank and 1/3 goes off to paying off the mortgage after 10 years. Unbelievable. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, is taking him down to the RSL, and we can just play the game, and it's going to help him to change the way he thinks and just really, and maybe, I don't know if we can do this, maybe we should have a game of cash flow. And that's the other thing, your Bling board game that you have, can you do that online?
Yeah, 100%. So I've got it here. You don't have to. I've played the game for Kat's birthday, so I've got the board here, but you don't need to move around the things. We can just do the cards and we can just spin the dice. So it doesn't really matter. So you either can move around the board, or you can there's hundreds of different ways of using this game. So I have all the cards here, and I normally have the board set up, but I'd taken it off for a card reading night. So I have all the cards. We can just do card readings, and we can just spin and see what card comes up. So we can discuss that as well.
Maybe one Tuesday night we should play. We could get Ali. Ali, you there?
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
I know. She said, Ali, I might be able to get. Oh, she's got something. I might be able to get Billy. So we'll get a few people.
Yeah, that'd be
play the game. That'll be great. So
Facebook page. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Ali's got a message there. What's her message saying?
Would like to suggest, he says, I'm becoming more confident about money rather than I want to be more confident, becoming more confident. The first statement is in the present, saying it is so. The second one is based in the future. The future never arrives, so he will always want to be confident. Otherwise, he is becoming more confident, i.e., as he speaks. It is now the present. Hope this makes sense. So
Yeah.
I want to be more confident. Once again, I'm choosing to
There's
be.
that want.
Yeah. Because it's about the future and wanting, and our language is so important. Our language is so important. Our thoughts are so important. We say this every week.
Yeah.
Everything has energy attached to it, every single thought. And think of the things you say to yourself in your head. You wouldn't say them to your worst enemy, so imagine the energy attached to that, right? So that's
Absolutely.
that's what Ali's talking about there. So
And Ali was, for those that might be a bit late, she was talking about the story about the guy that I met on Thursday night who was terrified about money. And it must be really horrible to be terrified about money.
In this day and age, it's you have to do the work. Like we started off this show today, you have to do the work to change your mindset. You have to do it. It takes work. It just doesn't happen like that. But as we were explaining, it just becomes easier and easier. It is like riding a bike, so that it gets into autopilot, so that you're choosing the right words. You've got the right mindset around it, and you've got, your attention and focus is in the positive, not the negative. And it's about jumping above the line to the positive, because there's light and dark. We say this every week. There's the duality of life. There's the light, the dark, the positives, the negatives. And everything is a choice. So every situation, every experience in your life can be perceived positive or negative, particularly around money. There's massive tax debt. Yeah, okay, there can be lots of perceived negatives around it, but always flip it. There's always positives to be found every single time. Out of everything, every perceived situation negative, every perceived negative situation, you can flip it and find at least 3 positives out of it.
As Napoleon Hill said, equal or better opportunity on the other side. Yep. And so when I got that $8,000, that's the first thing that I went to. I said, okay, where's the equal or better opportunity in that? And as I said, I'm just taking it as it comes. So today I just contacted and just seeing where it takes me.
And, often these are like little challenges or tests for us, because you can't change what you don't know. So like we were saying about, it wasn't until I had some awareness about this place. Oh, it's a bit too hot. Then all of a sudden it's like, hello, there was some awareness from the universe sent to me with a message. So it's the same, like you've got your tap. You go, what's the message for this? Was that your light? So, there's things happen for a reason, and universally they happen for a reason. So you might be thinking, oh, that's really shit, or that's really bad, but why has it happened? Start to question that. It's just like we were just talking about Steve missing his plane. So there's some reason around it. There's some message attached to that. So what is the message?
That's exactly it, and that's really what we need to start doing on a moment-to-moment basis in our lives. When shit happens, where's the opportunity in that shit happening?
Absolutely. Yeah. Finding what is it that's saying about something, finding the whatever out of the shit. And seeing the light, or Ali would know it, but
Well, I'm sure Ali will tell us in the chat. So
there's always to be found out of the bad, let's put it that way. So it's like making lemonade out of lemons, when life gives you lemons, all that sort of stuff. And it's not cliched, it's just real life. It's just how it is. You fall over and you just go, you can either dust yourself off and keep going, or you can wallow in the pity party. Oh, woe is me, Debbie Downer. It's like, oh my God, I've got no time or energy now for those sort of attitudes.
But it's amazing, because we do go into those pity parties, and we forget that as a kid, how many times did we fall over before we started to walk? Now as adults, have we become so immature that we we fall over once and we spit the dummy like a little
Yeah,
baby.
absolutely.
Get up and man up or woman up and face the challenge head on.
I love it. Yeah, the statement is fail fast, so you can learn from
Fail
your
fast.
mistakes. And today I was doing bling stuff with Ali and Angie, and oh no, or was it? I can't remember. I've been in so many meetings or whatever's. Grow through what you go through, right? So whatever you're going through, grow through it. Take the gold out of it. What can I learn from this experience? So go through what you grow through. No, grow through what you go through. Yeah. It's like, what is the growth out of that?
I've told you one of my sayings that I do every day now is there's gold dust there in the air.
I love that. Like, for me, it sparkles for dust. Whatever words resonate for you, you can that's one of those visionary words. Gold dust. You can
gold dust in the air. And so when I'm walking or bike riding, I will just imagine myself riding through gold dust.
Oh,
or walking through gold dust.
I reckon I should. Yeah, keep going. Keep talking.
And that actually. So I'm not going to say that's. I'm going to fess up and tell you where I got that statement from. And it comes from Catherine Ponder's book about prosperity.
You're always talking about her books.
Yeah. It's a bit too religious for me, but it's got a lot of great stuff in there. And the Bible, there's a lot of great stuff in the Bible. It's just the way it's taught sometimes.
Yeah. It's the interpretation out of it too.
The interpretation, yeah.
All right, I just pulled a card for you, the growth deck. The growth deck can be a little bit challenging because it's all about growing yourself out of these situations. So the card that's come up for you says, what is something I am still holding on to, knowing it's time to let go? First thing that comes into your mind. What is it?
Holding that I'm still letting go. I don't want to say it, but it's my profession.
Yeah, man. And you're not the only one. So many people are in this position of like, no, it's not, because, we're energetic beings and we evolve. And so it's hard to think you're going to stay the same all the way. Kids these days are going to have 7 to 8 career.
Just keep talking. I just want to grab something and share it with you. But keep talking so they'll think, pull out another card and read it.
Yeah. But let me just talk about this one. What is something I'm still holding on to, knowing it's time to let go? So this is when you know inside, you really know inherently in you that it's time to move on. But, why are you holding on to it? What is it? What's the attachment there? Is it for security? Is it for safety? Is it because of the fear? What is something I'm still holding on to, knowing it's time to let go? It can be in your relationships. It can be in your personal life. It can be with your finances. It be around your career. It might be your lifestyle. What is it you're still holding on to? And it might be your security blanket. What is your security blanket, knowing it's time to let go? So, I like that one. What is your security blanket?
Yeah. Well, right now my job is my security blanket. But the reason why I wanted to grab this because you pulled this bling card out of me and said, what is it that you want to let go? And it reminded me, so every morning I write my goals, I've got my 5-year goal and then my monthly goal, right? And this is literally what I wrote this morning for my 5-year goal, right? So I have attracted $1,040,000 or something better in the year 2028. I have now been finished with my financial planning business for a few years now and settled into my new role. There we go.
Yeah, and you put it out there. And here, this is just another reminder. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. So 2028. So what are we now? 2020.
That's 5 years.
5 years.
5-year goal.
That's a 5-year goal, right? I just can't do the maths.
Before I'm 30 years old.
Peter Pan.
Why are you laughing at?
Because I think you're older than me. Now, this is, we're getting towards the end of this show, but this is the next card. I know. Wait for this.
We're going to cover.
When did I last take time to catch my breath? And that links into a great segue. So this is the universe saying, hey, let's segue back into the topic today, which is all about today.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It came to us yesterday when a lot of people, you say, how have you been? And they go, I've been really busy.
Yeah.
But are they productive busy, or are they waste of time busy?
Yep. Yep.
And now I was reading a book earlier on this year, and somebody was saying, the author, I forgot who it was because I've read so many, or listened to, I was listening to, so I was listening to this book, and the author was saying that he took his income producing activities and put a time to it.
Yep.
And he had a stopwatch around his neck, and every time he actually did income producing activities, he turned it on, and when he stopped, he turned it off. And it worked out to be something like, it turned out to be something like 20 minutes a day or something.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild.
So this guy makes millions of dollars on 20 minutes of income producing activity a day. Which, and I know for me, my income producing activities, I'm making a lot of money for the amount of actual income producing activities I do. I'm making a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also like we were talking before about the foundational stuff. So when we look at busyness, is it being a productive busy, or is it like, as you say, a wasting time? But being busy also, are you just caught up in the motions of the autopilot, or are you actually being present? Because I know I go to a lot of meetings, and I must say sometimes I might be at networking events and I'm checking my phone, I'm doing all the other, I'm not being engaged, I'm not being present. I'm still being busy on here, but I'm answering emails and doing all that sort of stuff. Now, sometimes it warrants it because people are just carrying on. But, it's all about the quality of your busyness, right? Is it towards your business? Is it building a foundation? And so you've just got a lot to do things. Like when you're running your own business, you have a lot of things to do. You've got lots of boxes to tick. But also I know through my coaching with one of my clients, it's just like we have to put some boundaries up here, because people are sucking you dry and you're getting exhausted. You're becoming resentful. You're getting overwhelmed. You're exhausted and tired. So you're actually not no good quality to yourself to show up, right? And you can't be present because you can't engage because you're too exhausted. So I think this is a really good topic for people to consider. How am I spending my time and my energy? Am I busy being busy, or am I busy being productive for my business and for myself? Because it's two different types of busyness, right? Showing up and being present, or just being there for the sake of being there, or being busy.
And the other thing that you want to do is outsource those things that you're not good at.
That's my big thing.
That's my big thing too. I built my own website on for financial planning.
Yeah.
I should have just paid $400, $500, $600. This goes happening again. The $400, $500, $700, right?
Yep.
To have somebody build it out properly for me. And
absolutely.
Yes, I got some compliments on my website, but it took me a couple of days. I went to Cronulla Library and I did it in Cronulla Library.
Yep.
But my income producing activity is sitting in front of people and helping them out with their finances or insurance.
Yeah. And that's your magic,
not
right?
building. That's right. It's not building a website.
I'm a huge staunch advocate, and I say it all the time. Focus on the 10% you're good at and outsource the 90% you're not. Because when you do that sort of pyramid thing, where is your time being spent? And you want to focus on that top income producing part of the triangle, and all this other stuff that's just stuff, and it's admin and it's whatever else. What is important for you? Where are you going to make the money for you? It's that personal one-to-one. It requires you. You have to be there. You can't get someone else to do it. So that's the important part for you. Same with me with healing. Can't outsource that, but can outsource the websites and the CRMs and the whatever else, and the email list and the social media and other stuff where it's not as important. So once again, it's that catastrophe or the priority scale. But, once again, coming back to that, how often are we actually present? How often are we connected? How often are we engaged in the things that we're doing that are keeping us busy? It's a 24/7 world, and it's really difficult. The turn-off time isn't like it used to be 9-to-5 jobs and all that sort of stuff. That's gone. That's, COVID's changed a lot. So many more people at home. And so, yes, people are always wanting more and more. And this is where it's also important to put those boundaries up. allow yourself to process what you're going through, your days, your weeks, your jobs. Like my weekends, I have to reset because I am busy during the week, but it's a structured busy. I'm on top of it. I can manage that, but I do put the boundaries in. Weekends, I need to get out, just out in nature, and I walk every day. That helps me balance the busyness every single day and listen to stuff, catch up on, the Loom dream weaving stuff, whatever it is, But it's really, really important because so many people are so busy. I'm so busy. And it's flippant, it's just like busy doing what? Have you, stop and drill it down.
Now, a really good book that can help people with the time management, right?
Yeah.
Is a book called The 4-Hour Week.
Oh.
And I read this book. I haven't read this year. I read this a few years ago.
Is this on Audible?
I think it is on Audible. And essentially what he is talking about is what you've just said. Find that, what he says, 20% of what you're good at and outsource everything out. And one of the great things that's happened in this world is the internet. We can outsource and get a PA in the Philippines for a very decent price. For them, it's a win because it's a lot of money for them. For us, it's a win because it's not a lot of money for us. But the amount of time it frees up, so you can do, and we've got quality versus quantity in there, right? Are you doing the quality stuff, or are you just doing quantity?
Yeah.
And if you're so busy not focusing on your 20%, you're not making as much, you're not living your full potential.
No, and as we say every week, the thing that you can control, the only thing you can control is your own time and your own energy. So have a look at where you spend it. That's what I do in my journals. Every day people look at where their time has gone for the day. Oh my God, I ended up, Googling on something for 3 hours, or, started reading emails and, whatever, or going down those rabbit holes, and then all of a sudden, when you divide up, this is a really good exercise, divide up your day and look at where you spent all of your time, what were you doing, and, did it fuel your energy or did it drain your energy, right? And did it add stress to your life or did it take it away?
I've got another idea. That's such a great idea, but have you ever done this? I've done this before. Get a little notepad and write down every activity you do and see how much time you're actually wasting.
Yeah. So, there's lots of different activities. You can draw a circle and divide it into 24 hours and look at how much time you're spending sleeping, how much time you're taking the kids around, to and from school or whatever, how much time you're watching TV. And that's important to have the downtime, right? So it really is a really good awareness exercise because, as we always say, you can't change what you don't know. So once you start to have that awareness, that conscious understanding of where you're spending your time and energy, then you can make more informed decisions about, well, that's been wasting my time. A VA is going to cost me $8 to $10 to give me half an hour to fill them in, and then off they go. They've got whatever. But the busyness, because people are getting worn out and it's not sustainable at all. And, we talk often about recharging your batteries because it is a busy world. So where can you reduce your busyness? What can you cut out? What doesn't really matter? Like in H&P this morning, we were talking about if you could look back, what part of your life would you change and why? And I said, well, when I had the 4 kids under 4 and I was trying to be perfect everything, have the perfect kids in the perfect clothes and have the perfect house all tidied up and doing all this and 2 dogs and renovating, I look back, I was driving myself into an early grave. I was going nuts. And I just go, I'd stop being an egg and just let things go because that's not important at the end of the day, the big scale of things. You've frozen up. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll just try and turn my camera back on.
Well, that card was very apt. When did I last take time to catch my breath?
Right. Now, there was another thing, and this is a great tip for everybody. Right? Yep. If you want to achieve or get a advancement in your life, this is guaranteed 100%. And let me just grab it.
Woo-hoo. Drum roll.
Can you read that? No, you can't.
No, the light's there.
It says, am I doing the most productive thing right now?
Oh, an affirmation. Affirmations are so powerful. Keep that on the top of your laptop or wherever you can see it.
Well, I sit the other side, so that's right in front of me. I don't read it. It's funny how it becomes blind after a while.
Yeah.
Are you doing the most productive thing right now? And if the answer is no, then what is the most productive thing? So if you're in sales, are you selling right now? No, well, let's go sell. If you're doing healing, are you healing right now? No, well, go and do some healing.
But also being productive is to have a rest, right? So
yes, yeah, but that's a scheduled rest, absolutely.
Mental health stuff, that's being productive. Yeah.
The mega rich, right, will work 3 weeks really hard and then spend 1 week on their super yachts, having the time of their lives and drinking champagne. And,
oh, nice one. French and strawberries, all that sort of stuff. But I remember going to Golden Door or one of those, and a lot of surgeons and specialists that are under high-powered, high-pressured jobs, they go hard, and every 3 months they either take a weekend or take a week off, same sort of thing, where they just recharge and reset because they can manage their busyness, the high power, the high stress, but they know to balance that out, take that time off. So that is productive. Ooh.
that is. That's the whole thing. So Quality versus Quantity, 4-Hour Work Week, that's a very good book. And then again, it's, and I said it, but it's really, last year I did this coaching call. I was being coached by a very wealthy person. And the one thing he said is, if don't do something you can pay somebody else to do. So for me, I haven't mowed my grass. It's disgusting because it grows so fast now.
Yeah,
but I mow my own grass. Okay, but technically, if I was to be following his advice, I would have a lawn person mowing my grass for me. But that's something I kind of like enjoying on a Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of people find that very therapeutic to mow the lawn. I was only talking about that with some chicks the other day, and they go, "No, I actually like it," and I go, "Yeah." So yeah, but it is, and even if it's stuff that you think you need to be doing, do you really need to be doing it? Like sometimes you don't need to have a website to be out running a business. Like you can do it down the track, but if you don't have the money, it's networking is going to be more important because often it's the referrals, right? The word of mouth rather than having the website set up first. Look at your strategy from top down. What's the important part rather than the bottom up? Oh, I've got to do the nitty gritty. Well, you don't. You look from the top down.
Look, when you go into business the first time, the website, the business cards, all of those are on the bottom of the to-do list.
Absolutely.
The first thing you need to do is some marketing, let people know you're out there, and then start selling. And then once you've got the money, then you worry about the business cards and all that.
Well, it's being clear on your niche. You've got to really be very clear on your niche. You've got to be clear on your product, and you've got to be clear on your unique value proposition, or what makes you unique to someone else that's doing the same thing. So there's a lot of the strategy needs to be in place before you do the other stuff. So,
well, that's just been very clear, as in Napoleon Hill. You've got to be, I was going to say definiteness of purpose, but there's something else. You've got to have a very clear picture of what you want. And that's before you even start your marketing and sales. Because if you don't know what you want,
well, what you put out, you're going to get it back, right? So if you've got a half an idea and you put out a half an idea, you're going to get a sort of wishy-washy response, and that's all part of the manifesting as well. So clarity is super important, and clarity. Someone's thing's going off. I think it might be mine. Oh man, it's okay. It's just after 8. That's what it is.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So no, that's right. So. It's been an interesting night tonight. We've covered quite a lot.
We've covered heaps, heaps.
And without my disco, I could fix that.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Look how washed out I am. And I was trying to change the setting on my light over here, and then I lost my camera again. Let me just turn it on and off and see if that makes a difference. Change the settings on my light. That's a little better.
Good lighting. I'm just seeing it. I think Ali's probably gone now.
All right. She said she had to. Oh, look. Let's change everything. No, I need the other light.
What's his number? So that's what Ali said.
Phil's number.
Oh, she's having roast pork, crackling and veggies. See you later. Finding the gold in the dross, I think. There we go. Too funny. All righty.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure as always. Covered a lot of things to this time.
Let's see what magic happens over the next coming week, Paul, because it's, magic happens when we come together. Because it's once you put some focus on it, it's incredible what can unravel.
One of the reasons why you and I, we're doing this, it wasn't, we had first decided that we were going to get together and support each other with our mastermind alliance, Napoleon Hill again. And just by doing that, we both read the same book at the same weekend and we both got our ideas. And I can't wait till your idea comes out. I'm going to give everybody a hint. It's about clothing, but that's all I'm going to say. But Sally's
next year, but I'll be able to launch it in March, I think. So
launch it in March, but it's going to be so exciting. We can't wait for that, right? But ever since you and I have been doing this, and you had your journey of personal development till you and I started doing this. So you were already on the path, and we were just like two ships that we like-minded, and let's just support each other.
And we came together through COVID, through networking.
And that's exactly right. And so if there's anybody else out there, go and find a buddy that you can just say, look, this is my goals. Just let's support each other. You don't tear them down or whatever. It's just like, great, believe in them and help them. And two minds is better than one mind by more than two minds.
The sum of the whole is so much more than the independent individual units. 100%. So, and showing up, having that consistency, that accountability, it just brings on productivity for sure on all levels and brings on abundance. But choose like-minded people. That's really important. People that are on the same page, that speak the same language, because that is key. Because as we said earlier, you become the people that you hang around, the 5 people that you hang around. So be mindful of that and, take it from there.
And that's why it's so important to choose the right people as well. As you said, like you live 1,000 Ks from me. But from what I see of you, you've got so many of that already set up because you're so far down the journey. You've got so many like-minded people that you've already surrounded yourself with.
I'm very, very, very mindful, very selective about where I spend my time and energy, particularly because I'm sensitive doing energy work. So I reckon, my friendship groups have changed, let's put it that way, over the years, because, people shift and learn and shift and lift at different levels. And so, you're shifting and lifting and learning and growing, and so your energy is raising. So your frequency and vibration, I can relate to that. But, some people are here and some people are there. So I just choose to lift myself with the people that I surround myself with.
What's it? A tide rises all ships or something like that. A rising tide raises all ships. So, and that's a great thing. So, and if you don't have that person yet, don't worry about it. Trust in the flow. If you don't know what we're talking about this earlier on. And when that person's right, they will come into your life.
Yeah. You put it out there, you put the intention out there, and trust and believe and just allow the process to unfold. Just allow. Because I haven't got my water bottle here, but once you release it.
You love that water bottle.
I know, because it's the empty glass. So you've got a glass full. You can't take anything more in it. So you've got to empty something out of the glass to allow it to fill up again. I've only got my water bottle here. So, here. So you've got to let it out to allow to receive. So, just allow. Allow to release and allow to receive. Cheers.
Cheers. I hope that's water, not tequila.
Oh, my God. I'm in trouble with that one. I've just come straight from the gym. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, that gives you the excuse to drink it.
Man, it'd be pretty heavy tequila in there.
Yeah,
Man,
no, I know. Right.
all righty. Well,
Right then, okay. Well, thank you. And yeah, I
see you
will
next
be
week.
catching up with you during the week. All right, bye.
Thank you. Very funny.